He slid the check across the table like a trap. "So you don't mind covering this, right?" The woman he was dating said it soft, almost sweet, but her eyes were sharp. She watched him the way people watch a wallet they want to open. The restaurant was tiny, nothing fancy, and he was dressed like a man who barely made rent. She expected him to flinch, to scramble, to prove something. Instead, the poor black single dad across from her nodded calmly, paid for both meals without a complaint, and then noticed the old waiter limping near the kitchen. He stood up to help him before anyone asked. From the corner booth, the CEO who had set this whole thing up felt her chest tighten. Her test was supposed to expose desperation. What she saw instead was character. The woman's name was Claire Hastings, CEO of one of the fastest-growing health tech companies in the city, and a headline magnate she hated being. People called her cold, but the truth was simpler. She had learned early that love could be a costume. She had watched her mother marry a charming man who shook hands with everyone and stole from her in silence. She had watched her father walk out with the house and the savings and a new smile for a new life. By the time Claire was 17, her mother had 2 jobs, a tired spine, and a list of men who said they loved her right up until they saw a bill. Claire never forgot that lesson. She built her life with numbers, not promises. She earned her MBA on scholarships, worked through nights in labs and boardrooms, and turned a small startup into a company that saved lives. Money came, fame came, power came. But with it came people who smiled too fast. Men who suddenly had time for her the day her face hit Forbes. Men who used soft words like partnership while their eyes measured her lifestyle. After 3 terrible relationships, she changed the rules. No one would date Claire Hastings, CEO. They would date Claire, the supposedly broke consultant who lived in a simple apartment, drove a used car, and carried no visible shine. She told herself it wasn't cruel, it was self-defense. If a man could care for her without the glow of her wealth, maybe he was real. Her friends called it the secret test. Claire called it survival, so she joined a blind dating service under a fake name. She wore plain clothes. She left her watch. At home, she practiced being invisible. Date after date failed. One man joked about how he needed a woman who could upgrade his life. Another asked why she didn't just find a rich guy to fix her problems. A third smiled through dinner until he found her car in the parking lot, then looked disappointed like he had ordered steak and got soup. Claire went home each night feeling the old ache of her mother's voice in her head. People can love you. Hard when they think you can save them. Then came the profile labeled Marcus Reed, 30-4, widowed, single, dad to a 6-year-old girl. Works 2 jobs, lives modestly. Interests listed were simple. Books, cooking, weekend walks, old music. No bragging, no polished lines. The dating service almost didn't match them because Claire's fake profile looked too low income to pair with someone carrying so much responsibility. But something about Marcus felt like quiet truth. They met at a small neighborhood restaurant on a Thursday night. Marcus arrived early, wearing a clean button-down that had been washed too many times. Hair trimmed carefully, shoes scuffed but neat. His hands were working hands. His eyes were tired eyes. Still, he stood when she walked in and gave a warm, respectful smile that didn't scan her outfit for labels. Claire relaxed a little before she realized she was doing it. They talked over simple food. Marcus didn't overshare. He didn't perform. He listened. He asked Claire about her day without steering the answer toward money. When she mentioned she worked in consulting and kept things tight, he nodded like that was normal, not a flaw. He told her he worked maintenance at a city building during the day and delivered packages at night. Didn't say it like a complaint. Said it like a man describing what love requires. Claire felt the pull of curiosity and guarded hope. Halfway through dinner, she watched him notice the elderly waiter struggling to carry a tray. Before Claire could even process it, Marcus stood up, took the tray carefully, and helped place glasses on a nearby table. The waiter thanked him, embarrassed. Marcus shook his head and said, "No shame in needing a hand." When he came back, he didn't look proud. He looked normal. Like helping was just air, Claire tried not to stare. Then she ran the test. She told Marcus, she was behind on rent this month and needed to be careful. She said it casually, like a confession she hated. She watched for the twitch many men had shown. Already the one that said burden, and the one that said not my problem. Marcus didn't flinch. He said life gets heavy sometimes. He said I won't pretend I can fix everything, but I don't run when people are honest. He said his daughter had taught him that you can't measure a person by what they have right now, only by what they do with what they have. Claire felt something shift. She pushed further. Ashamed of how much she needed to know, when the check arrived, she slid it toward him with careful language. She said she forgot her card and asked if he could cover it, promising to pay him back. It wasn't a huge bill. Still, it was her trap. Marcus looked at the check, then at her face. He said, of course, paid without a sigh, without milking it. For control. He didn't say she owed him anything. Just said next time she could pick the place if she wanted. Claire's test was cracking. Outside, the rain started lightly, turning streetlights soft and golden. Marcus offered her his jacket. She refused politely. He didn't push. He walked her to her car anyway, keeping pace with her, not in front, not behind. At the curb, Claire asked him why he was on blind dates at all when life was clearly full already. Marcus took a long breath. He said his wife died 2 years ago. He said grief doesn't vanish, but loneliness can become poison if you let it sit too long. He said he didn't want a replacement. He wanted someone who could be kind to his child and kind to herself. Someone who wouldn't look down on where he was or try to step over his daughter to get to him. He paused, then said a line that stuck in Claire's ribs. I'm not rich, but I'm not empty. Claire looked away so he wouldn't see her eyes soften. The next week they met again, not because Claire arranged another test, but because she wanted to. They went to a park with coffee. Marcus brought a small bag of cookies his daughter had helped bake. Claire learned her name was Lily. Claire learned. Lily had her father's steady gaze and her mother's smile. Marcus didn't hide Lily. He honored her. Claire tried one last test without meaning to. She mentioned a made-up emergency bill. Marcus didn't offer money he couldn't spare. He offered solutions, budget plans, community resources. Friend, who worked at a charity clinic. He offered time, not flash. And that was what finally broke her wall. On their 4th date, Claire met Marcus at a quiet diner. She didn't wear plain clothes this time. She didn't wear a disguise. She walked in as herself. It's not the CEO look, but not the broke mask either. Just a woman tired of hiding. When Marcus asked what was different, she told him the truth. She said she was not broke. She said she was the CEO of Hastings Health. She said she lied because she had been hunted by people who wanted what she had, not who she was. She said she had tested him, and she was sorry. Marcus went still. Claire expected anger. She expected a quiet exit. She expected the shame she had earned. Instead, he asked one question. Did you do it because you're scared to be used, or because you think love is a game? Claire said she was scared. Marcus nodded slowly. He said fear makes people do strange things. He said he didn't like the test, but he understood the wound. Then he looked her straight in the eye and said another line that felt like shelter. If you want something real, stop hiding behind traps. Stand where I can see you? Claire breathed like she had been holding her, lungs shut for years. She asked if he could forgive her. Marcus said, forgiveness is easier when someone chooses honesty next. They didn't become a fairy tale overnight. Became something better. Slow trust. Real conversations. Shared weekends with Lily, who decided quickly that Claire laughed in a safe way. Claire helped Marcus find better work through her company's facilities division, not as charity, but because he deserved stability. Marcus never asked for a shortcut. He only asked for respect. Months later, Claire stood on her balcony at night, city lights stretching out like possibility. She realized the only man who passed her secret test wasn't the one who proved he could afford her. He was the one who treated her the same when he thought she had nothing. Because real love doesn't chase wealth. It stands beside dignity. Asterisk, if this story moved you, comment where you're watching from and tell us what you think. Makes love real. Subscribe for more stories about quiet heroes, hard lessons, and the kind of endings that feel earned.